We're live on this Monday night. This is Frank. Got Carrie, got Backwoods in the house tonight. We might have a little bit to talk about tonight, I believe. We'll see if we can keep this to an hour tonight. But hit that thumbs up. Hit that if you've not already, hit that subscribe button as well. Share out the content. It's the biggest thing to do to help as well. Got a lot of Tennessee, Georgia to talk about. We'll talk a little bit about UAB tonight, and then whatever else we kind of, I guess, comes up. But it is definitely going to be Tennessee, Georgia talk tonight. And I guess we're going to start off. I know, Carrie, you were there on Saturday. Tell us, what was the environment like? What was it like at the end before the field goal? What was it like after the field goal? Because I'm sure it was kind of opposite ends of the spectrum on each of those.
Yeah, I mean, environment was what I expected it to be. I mean, it was great. The flyover before the game was awesome. I don't know. This was the first time in a few years I've sat in the second deck, and the flyover, like it shook everything, and it was like bone rattling. I tried to tweet that, but there was no service, so I had to delete that to tweet other stuff. But I mean, it was like the whole place shook, and it was pretty awesome. The environment itself was electric. The whole game at least when I set up there, it was. Then literally as Brazel scored the touchdown in the second half, whenever we took back the lead, I was walking down to my girlfriend to sit in the student section. And then so I missed the Brazel touchdown, but I was in the concourse when everybody erupted. Then I saw like him in the end zone. So I knew he scored. Then I walked down and got down there. Whenever I got down there, it felt like we were going to win. It truly did. I was down there for the entire fourth quarter. We were planning on storming the field at that point. Like the security, like with 3 minutes left, the ushers were literally passing up the news like we had to wait 2 minutes. Like for some reason we had to wait 2 minutes. I don't know why. I guess to let Georgia get off the field, but that was being passed up, at least in air section in the student section. And then, I mean, it was electric. I mean, the Staley touchdown was right to us. It's definitely interesting whenever you sit that low because it was like row number 5. It's always interesting when you sit that low. The game's completely different at that level compared to being in the second deck. I went from the third, like highest row in the stadium to the 5th lowest on the matter of a game. So it was very, very interesting. You don't really get to see as much on that level. Like I couldn't see. You can really just see like the offense or the defense, whichever side it is. But I mean, it felt like we were going to win. I thought we were going to win up until the kick. Missed the kick, and then it was dead. Like it was all the energy in the place was gone. At that point, I was like, we may still win, but I didn't like our chances. And one of the sad things about it is I have been at all Tennessee Georgia games since Kirby Smart's taken over. That's the least amount of Georgia fans I have ever seen there. And
really,
they got rewarded. Yeah, they like pack out the entire second deck along the south end zone. They normally cover all that around the top, and they didn't even come close to that this year. They definitely didn't have as many numbers. Now I think they did have a few more like down on the field, and they also had red towels. Like they put out red towels for them. So I guess Tennessee gave them that courtesy because they had red towels on all the seats in like their allotted section, and it wasn't just like 200 of them. It was like 1,000 towels spread out. So that was interesting to see before the game. So it was nice, I guess, that we gave them that hospitality and that nobody like stole those. Because I was like, there's no way those are lasting until game time. But nobody ran through and scooped them all. But at the end of the day, they got to celebrate the win, which always sucks.
Yeah, that was kind of rough to see at the end. I mean, I kind of felt, and Backwoods, I'll come to you here in a second, but it kind of felt to me like when he missed the kick, it's like didn't feel good at that point on it. Backwoods, what's your overall thoughts? I mean, I know we've got a lot to talk about. We can look at a lot of different parts, but overall thoughts coming out of what was a rough one, man.
If I would have been on the same cellular plan as I was in high school when I got my first phone, I would have exceeded my text messages just to Frank Like probably I had like 250 texts that I could use back in high school, and I think I probably used all those texts texting
Yeah.
you. I think I experienced probably about the same emotions that Kerry had inside Neyland Stadium. I also moved from the three rows in the house, started on the couch all the way to the back of the living room, progressively moved closer to the TV till I was about a foot away. Yeah, just whenever he missed the kick, I just kind of knew. Like when it went to overtime, I kind of had the same emotions I did that Purdue game. That Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield. I knew if it went to overtime, we had no chance to win. I had the same emotions in this game. I just knew whenever he missed that kick that from the 25-yard line, the way that Georgia's offensive line had been moving the ball in the run game, I just didn't feel great about it. I mean, I really feel like I feel like this was Tennessee's like everything pointed that they were supposed to win. Like just felt like it felt like 22 Bama. It really did. Similar story. Hooker coming in, Aguilar coming in. We hadn't beaten them in an extended amount of time. Just felt like it was supposed to happen. Unfortunately, it just didn't go our way. I think experience kind of ended up winning the game for Georgia. They've been in more of those situations than we have. Stinks. It's definitely a gut punch. But thankfully, with the 12-team playoff, the season's still in front of you. This team still has a lot to play for. All of your goals are still out in front of you. And, it's just funny how we kind of shift the goalposts. Like, before the season, I would have been like, Georgia at home's a loss. But, I feel like we've exceeded expectations the first two games. And just, the fact that we were able to compete with Georgia for 4 quarters, take them down to the wire, put up 41 points on Kirby's defense, I think speaks volumes to what the direction this team's headed. Yeah, so I definitely feel like we can get one on the road at either Bama or Florida. Not sure which one it'll be. Not sure if it'll be either one of them, but I do think we can grab one of those. But definitely a gut punch. Disappointed to say the least.
I mean, going off that point, I think you got to get Florida this year. I don't think there's any excuse not to. It'll be tough. I mean, we know that's a house of horrors, if there ever was one. Bama will be tough. I mean, it's what do we chalk this one up to Saturday? You mentioned the offense put points up, but man, I'll be honest. I have some issues. Not with none of my issues are with players from Saturday, and that's one thing about it. In the moment when I made my cover photo for after the game, I knew I would get some reaction on it. People don't listen; they look at the photo and don't listen to the content. Where people's automatic, you blaming Gilbert for the loss? I put the blame on Hype. I mean, Gilbert has to hit that kick. Let's don't make anything about it. Heupel did him no favors on that. He iced his own kicker on that one. I had a few instances where I was not happy that I felt we had conservative decisions. Georgia, I didn't feel like did. Georgia won the football game. Regardless what happens, you don't give a team like that opportunities. I guess, let's start. I don't really know where to start. There's a lot of things we can look at, but, what do we think? We'll just talk all three. Let's talk the kick. That's the big one here to me. Man, I felt like on TV it looked like Gilbert looked like a deer in headlights before he come out there. But I don't think Heupel did him any favors because it looked like after Georgia burned her last time out, he was coming out to kick it. And they sent him back, and they got that senseless false start penalty. That's senseless. It's absolutely senseless. And then I guess did they run another play on that, or is that when they decided to just go ahead and kick it?
Yeah, they kicked it. It was the false start, and then they kicked it because there was 7 seconds left on third down, and it made no sense to me.
Okay.
But Heupel said it was so they didn't get a false start or a holding call to push it back even further. That made no sense to me because at that point, no matter how high Max Gilbert kicks the field goal, if it goes in, Georgia's getting the ball back. They're at least getting some kind of chance. And that's what I don't like. Like, if you're going to do it, just have Joey do a quarterback sneak to the right so you get more in the center of the field. You're going to get at least a yard. And it just changes things. I think in that also probably messed up Max's routine. He probably didn't expect to go out there on third down with 7 seconds left. He's expecting I'm going to go kick the field goal as time expires. And then it was kind of like, I guess you could even say like Josh Heupel could have, by running him out there, made him think for a second, like, oh, does he not trust me? Like, why am I going out with 7 seconds left? Why is he worried about an extra 5-yard penalty and me having to kick it further? Like, why is he just throwing me in here right now? Like, why aren't we running another play, get a few more yards? Like, this doesn't make much sense to me. Because, I mean, in that situation, they talk about it in the NFL all the time. It's which side of the field do you want to kick it on? Mm-hmm. It's like you should know going into the game, we got a 35-yard field goal. We want to kick it on the left hash or right in the smack dab in the middle. And there was none of that. And it was just, that was all confusing to me how that played out. And that's all on Heupel and the coaching staff.
I think they absolutely did him no favors in that one. But, I mean, at the same time, I'm not going to mince words about he's got to hit that.
Yeah.
He's got to hit it. But, yeah, I agree with you. I think he totally missed the routine. That kick ultimately didn't cost us the football game. It should have won the football game.
Yeah.
But I can't sit here and put the whole game on him with it. Landon, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think a guy at my church yesterday morning said it best. He said whenever the camera went on to Max Gilbert, he said that the kid would have preferred to have been anywhere other than Knoxville, Tennessee. Like, drop me off in North Korea, I'd rather be there than Knoxville, Tennessee in this moment. I just think the whole thing was just super awkward, just how it played out. I mean, just not natural at all. I've never, have no experience kicking field goals at any level, but I imagine it's pretty similar to like shooting a free throw, right? You do it, you do it like a ton of repetitions over and over and over. It becomes second nature. But like, if you get kind of your routine gets thrown off a little bit, the ball doesn't feel exactly right in your hand, your arms kind of feel weird, your form's a little bit off. Just normally leads to clanking one off the side of the rim. At that point with 7 seconds left, like y'all said, I just don't understand. You got 7 seconds, you got another timeout. Why not run one more play?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe you pick up 5 more yards. Maybe you make him a little bit more comfortable at a closer range. I think it popped up on the graphic at the game. He's like 5 for 8 at, around 50 yards or more. So that below 50-yard range is obviously where he feels comfortable, right? He's been pretty much automatic from below that range. So I honestly don't understand why you don't run one more play, call the timeout, and get him in the center of the field, unless he prefers it on the left hash, which I've not heard that at all. But like you said, Heupel's worried about another false start or a holding call. How about we just fix the penalties if that's an issue, right? I mean, how long does it take and not just on that play, like in the second quarter, how many drives started out with a false start or a holding that sets you back behind the chains and just throws? I mean, first quarter, that offense is humming. I mean, it is the best it's looked since 2022 by far. And then, but second quarter, maybe a couple passes that, were a little bit high, a little bit behind, whatever. Then the penalties, it just cripples you. But I put a little bit, I put a lot on Heupel, I put a little bit on Gilbert. I mean, I hate to say it, but kickers should be able to make a 48-yard field goal, right? I mean, I think what magnifies it is it was to end like an 8 or 9 year streak of, and you can go down in history as being the hero that beat Georgia, right? And I think just all that pressure did get to him a little bit there.
Yeah. I mean, I could go back to a few things on it, but that one more play, yeah, I'm like Kerry. I wouldn't have, like you said, I mean, he could have kicked it a mile high, and there's still at least a couple seconds left. And, in that game, at the end, that game is never over until it says 0 on the clock. We've seen that before. I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for Gilbert. He's a good kicker. Something tells me if he gets another opportunity, it'll get handled a lot better from the coaches, and he'll come through on that. And something tells me he may get another opportunity on that as well.
That's me raising my hand for a point. I mean, he struggled in the game last year. Remember, he missed, 2 or 3 field goals? And then after that, he was automatic the rest of the season. So
Yeah,
I
he
mean, I
got the
have
shanks there for a point,
yeah,
didn't
he
he?
had the shanks, and I was terrified. I was terrified for the young man. And he did. I mean, on that kick, it was a little chunky. He did hit a little behind it, and that's why I kind of sprayed to the right. And what made it even worse was it was a perfect snap and it was a perfect hold. So hopefully he'll bounce back because you're going to need him again. I can guarantee you there's going to be a moment in the first or second quarter, more than likely, starting out in 2 weeks, Mississippi State, when you're going to need a field goal. And if he misses it, it could change things and it could be totally different. I don't know if he missed one last year at Arkansas, but I felt like something happened in an away game last year, and it kind of shifted things. So I just feel like he's going to be called upon. He's going to have another chance. He's still got 2 more years here. It's not like kickers don't really hit the transfer portal. So he's going to have plenty more chances, and I do feel like he'll come through whenever we need him next time. And if
Yeah.
not, you have Josh Turbyville, and he's just as good. So
Yeah, I mean they've got good kickers all the way around. That's for sure on it. Like I said, I feel bad for the guy, but Backwoods said 40-yard. Well, it's 42-yarder. Wasn't it? I expect you to hit that, and it from the get go, it was like, oh no. I don't think I said oh no, but it was definitely. It's like it wasn't even close on it, but I felt like a big part of me. I mean, we're going to talk the defense too, but I had 3 problems in that game with Heupel and the calls, and I felt Tennessee got burned all 3 times on. The first one, it was the second quarter, midfield, 4th and 2. We're getting ready to go for it. Kirby calls a timeout. Heupel punts it. I thought you needed to go for it there because the momentum had shifted, and you needed to get the momentum back if possible. A first down would have got things going. Here they punt it. Heupel a few years ago would not have done that. He would have been going for it. I don't like this new. Don't confuse my words. Heupel is close. He's really close, I think, to being in that level. He's learning things along the way. I want to see a little bit of that aggressive Heupel come back, though. That guy would put his foot on your throat and not let off of it. Because the defense was not playing that good at that point. I can't remember what the score was, but Georgia got the ball and went back down the field and scored at that point. But I didn't like that. And, people can disagree with that. You play field position with it. But I thought you needed momentum. The second one I had a real big problem with. 35-30, you get a fumble, go for the kill. Runs it 3 times, kicks field goal. And it was a long field goal, too. What was it, 48-yarder? So it wasn't like
49.
Close to 50.
And
it was on the.
So, I mean, it was –
He drilled
I
it.
didn't like that. Go for the kill in that game. You gave Georgia life. Georgia goes down, scores a touchdown. We're going to talk about the defense and some of that in a minute. And then the extra point or the 2-point conversion, was a debacle too, wide open. But you go back down and regardless of all of it, should have won the football game. And I thought there was a lot to go around. What about let's hit a little bit of not much more to say about Gilbert. It is what it is. I mean, I am happy for him. He bounced back in overtime, but at the same time, it's like, man, we needed that one a few minutes earlier. Bad. So offense, what'd you guys think about the offense overall on Saturday? Backwoods, what'd you think?
First quarter, I can't remember our offense looking that explosive. I mean, I'm sure there was games in 2022 where it was, but my goodness, I mean, could you have asked for a much better start? I mean, I think we almost scored as many points as mine and Kerry's prediction there. I think I said 28-24, something like Kerry's was similar there. Yeah, I mean, Joey had impressed me before, but I really think he has a chance to be, I mean, maybe an all-conference guy this year. Just some of the passes that he made and just the way that he was moving in the pocket. There was one play specifically where he drops back, pressure comes off the left, closes in. He just takes a step back and sidesteps to the outside and he just avoids the guy and just keeps his head downfield the whole time and just rips it on the out route. I mean, right on the money. And I told my father-in-law, I'm like, that was a heck of a play. It probably didn't look that impressive just to the casual watcher, but everything that it took to do that play, it was really impressive. Brazel, my goodness, where was that last year? I mean, just throw it up to him, and he just goes and gets it on probably some of the best secondary players in the SEC. Some of those catches were really impressive. You know, the lull there in the second quarter, I think, like we said earlier, some of the penalties definitely play into that. But that's part of the offense, right? The linemen, I just don't understand why it keeps becoming such an issue at home. Like I can understand the road, it's a loud environment, you can't hear the snap count, all that stuff. But at home, I just don't understand why it just continues to be such an issue. But if you would have told me that I can't remember how many total yards we said we would be happy with that we would expect to win. But if you had told me that Joey would have threw for like 225 yards in the first quarter, 3 touchdowns, and he would have ended the day with almost 400 yards passing, I would have been like, I'll take that all day long. I think that in my mind that would have guaranteed a win in my eyes if I would have saw that stat line before the game. But that's why you play the game, right? Um, but I mean, I think if he continues to put up that stat line for the rest of the year, that wins you a lot of ball games, in my opinion. I don't think every offense we play is going to put up 44 points on us. I hope not anyway. If it does,
Yeah.
I'll be very concerned. But if you get guys back like David Hobbs, Jackson Moy, that's going to help out a lot. But I feel like at times, the defensive line got pushed around a little bit
Mhm.
Saturday. I know we're talking about the offense right now, but just getting back some players, I think will really help us out as the year goes along. But if you give me that offense all year long, I'll be happy with it. In y'all's opinion, are you guys okay with the 2 picks if he throws for 4 touchdowns, almost 400 yards? I know the one wasn't really on him because Staley kind of tripped there in his route, but I
Mhm.
think he kind of forced the one down the left side of the field. What's y'all's opinion on that?
So he should have gotten a pass interference on that one, from what I've
True.
seen.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can. I think that was a bad throw. Um, so I don't really have a problem that he didn't get rewarded for a bad throw. Uh, but yeah, you can't do anything about the Staley one. Uh, the other one was pretty bad though. But I mean, what do you think, Kerry?
I mean, I was okay with the deep one just because it was third and long, and that was just as good as a punt in that
Yeah.
situation. It was further enough, so I was okay with it. Like, of course, don't like to see the interception there, and I think they may have got points off of that. But I could swallow the bill, and thankfully, I don't know how our defense managed to do it, but after the second interception, I don't know how we managed to get a 3-and-out after that to stop them. But they came up for Joe in a big way there because that could have been a disastrous turning point in the game.
Did you guys feel like? Yeah, I agree. I totally agree on that. Man, it felt to me like that's when they come out of the half when Georgia scored. It's like, here we go, and then I can't remember if Tennessee scored, if it was the next possession or 2 possessions later, but that was huge, and that kind of changed things. But like mentioned, Brazel, I think the questions about these young wide receivers might have got put to bed this week. They played really well in that game. And, you can't blame anybody on the one where Staley slipped. It's a timing route. He slipped. Aguilar put it where it was supposed to be. And who knows what that play would have went for. It may have been a short gain, or if he could have broken the tackle, it might have went a good ways on it. I thought a lot of good things were done. I mean, the way they come out and the way they looked was phenomenal. Was it not the 2022 team that would come out hot and in that second quarter they would cool off? Or am I wrong on that? I feel like there was another one of the teams that did the same thing.
The only options 21 and 22,
Yeah.
23 and 24
Yeah, that's
definitely
right.
didn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
you're exactly right on that one. So, yeah, I couldn't remember if it's 21 or 22, but that I don't know. I think you got to do something in them situations because Aguilar got off his game for a little bit and got to do something to help him out in that regard. With the run game wasn't there. And I thought the line did a pretty good job in pass protection. But I mean, I think the receivers they quieted any questions. I mean, and I saw Todd McShay put out a tweet. What was it yesterday? He said Brazel might potentially be working his way to the top receiver in the draft this year. So I mean, there was a lot of eyes got open what he did against Georgia on Saturday. It was pretty impressive. I mean, Staley was good. Matthews made some plays as well. Not a lot of complaints there. To me, running backs, I think Star Thomas is your top running back. I would have rode him more than they did with it. I mean, look at the offense too. What are some things that's Kerry? What's some things that stood out to you on the offense? What'd you like? Anything you didn't like in there that you think they need to work on going forward?
I mean, I really did like probably the thing that kind of stood out the most that most people may not notice is just the fact that we only allowed 1 sack against the Georgia defense. That's huge because in the past years they've been living in the backfield. We've had hordes of them getting sacks on our quarterbacks in big moments, and they didn't have that luxury. And there was a lot of times Joey had a lot of time back there in the pocket, and he was able to sit back there and pick them apart at times. I mean, we scored 41 points on them, and it wasn't by fluke either. It was just total domination of their defense. We just kind of disappeared there in the second quarter, and then for the first 14 minutes of the third quarter, we didn't really do anything. If you could have figured out how to manage a field goal or two in that time period, you would have won the football game. And I understand it's like Georgia makes the adjustments in the second quarter, but that's just if you could have been able to run the ball better in the second quarter, just to get a few more first downs, it could have changed the whole outcome of the game. When it was 21-7, you had a chance there to, like you could have put the kill shot in right there. 28-7, it's gonna be hard to catch up at that point. The extra touchdown could do a lot, and it's also just get the tight ends more involved. I feel like that was something going into the season where we were like, okay, maybe the wide receivers aren't the greatest, so we need to get the tight ends a lot more involved, and we haven't really necessarily seen that. And that was something we all said last week that we would do this week against Georgia, was take advantage of the middle of the field and take advantage of how good our tight ends are, and we're not necessarily seeing that. It would be nice to see that going forward. Then again, our wide receivers are playing so stinking good, it doesn't necessarily matter. But it would be nice to add that wrinkle into the offense. I don't really have many complaints at all about the offense. I think they're doing a fantastic job. It feels a lot like the 2021 and 2022 teams. You just kind of need the defense to put it together. I feel like you get the defense to put it together. I don't know if you're getting any guys back. Moy is the only guy that I would say confidently you'll get him back. Hobbs, you don't know. Gibson and McCoy, who knows? McCoy may not be back anytime soon. And then Gibson's apparently further back than he is. So I don't know if you're even seeing those guys again this season, which just stinks. Because, I mean, I'm not saying we would have beat Georgia had we had Ricky Gibson and Jamar McCoy. It would have been a lot different ball game. I can say that. They weren't able to beat us over the top as many times if we had those two guys or even one of those guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be nice to be healthy on defense, but you don't get luxury in the SEC like that. So the young guys had to step up and play better.
I mean, talking about the tight ends too, we all have been saying it, that all we heard was how deep this tight end room is and these freshmen, and we're only seeing Kitzelman. I mean, Ethan Davis honestly, let's be honest, he's done nothing. I don't even think he's caught a pass yet, if I'm not mistaken. So, if he can't get the job done out there, let's give one of these freshmen a chance and get them in. Yeah, it's like I had it pulled up here. It's like Marvin said here. You can't play – Kitzelman's playing too many snaps on it. And like I said, I mean, with the receivers playing as good as they are, I mean, you keep rolling with that. But I would like to see maybe start incorporating those freshman tight ends a little bit. We might see them a little more this week since it's UAB, but you need to get them ready for SEC play as well. I mean, one thing I'll look back on, and we'll come to you in a minute, Landon, but Star Thomas, 9 carries, 60 yards. He should have gotten more carries on it. He should have gotten more carries. And, that might have – that guy – and he's none of the running backs caught a pass. I think it was it Lewis that dropped one? But, I mean, it was kind of behind him. It wasn't like it was just in stride or right to him. But
I think Bishop dropped one
was it? Okay, it could have been. I couldn't
because he
remember
wore
which one.
gloves this game, and he said he doesn't usually wear gloves or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's numerous drops the running backs have had on passes. So I want to see Star Thomas get some more go, and because he's a guy that can catch it and make things happen out of the backfield. Again, I think they've got 3 really good running backs, but based on what I've seen so far, Star Thomas is the best one to me. And I don't say that to take away from the others. They're all 3 real good. I mean, what was your thoughts on Landon? What do you like? What do you want to see more of moving forward with the offense?
So, I mean, the main thing I liked is it looked like some of those wrinkles came back that we had been talking about for a while. Some of those, play action rollouts, and then just guys running open in general, right? I mean, the first 2 or 3 years, how many times did we see guys just running open? And you're like, whenever you're watching the game from like the side view, like you're like, how is that guy that wide open, right? Just like the touchdown pass to a Staley, right? The way the play's made, he cuts to the right, then cuts back up the left and goes up the sideline. Like that's intended to get that guy open, right? Just haven't been seeing that that often recently. But yeah, I don't understand, exactly why you don't. Whenever Star Thomas is in there and he's making plays, and some of the plays he's making are potential negative plays, right? Like there's a guy in the backfield, like about to tackle him, he makes a guy miss and goes and gets 5 or 6 yards. That's huge for momentum, right? Because you're taking a potential 2 or 3 yard loss and turned it into something positive. We always, I've said many times, I wonder what Alvin Kamara would have looked like in the Josh Heupel offense. And I'm not trying to say Star Thomas is on the level of Alvin Kamara, but very similar, right? A guy that can run, can make guys miss in space, and can also catch the ball out of the backfield. So I would definitely utilize him more, right? I think, maybe Heupel was just had it in his mind before the game he was going to play all 3 guys, and he was just going to stick to that regardless. Sure looked that way. But yeah, I would definitely get Star Thomas more reps, and maybe make it a point to try to throw the ball to him more often. Like I was talking to my father-in-law, that little screen pass that Georgia just ate us alive with Saturday. Like I don't see why you can't do something like that with Star Thomas. You
Yeah.
give him a couple blockers out and get him in space, let him make some plays. But as a whole, super happy with the offense. Super, I don't think you could be too awful critical of it, after what we were expecting. I'll say one thing, this offense looks a lot better than UCLA's, so I think it's, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they've already fired their coach. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, very.
Well, I mean, he got put in a pretty rough situation out there when Chip Kelly just took off and left. Chip Kelly didn't like to recruit, and it showed out there. But yeah, I mean, it's like you guys said earlier. If you would have told me Aguilar throws for 371, 4 touchdowns, and we score 41 points, I figured we win that football game. And we're going to get into the defense. There's going to be a lot on this, I feel like. But I mean, Aguilar, if Tennessee would have won that football game Saturday, Aguilar's name would have been in these top 10 Heisman polls that's been coming out. I don't think there's any doubt about it, and he would have probably been pretty high on it too. But, I mean, I've seen a lot today. There's a lot of people pretty high on Tennessee after that. So, I mean, I seen Joey Galloway was on evidently Kirk Herbstreit's show, and still his top 5, he had, I think, Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3, or maybe it was Ohio State 1, Georgia. But he had Tennessee 3rd overall. So, we'll see on that. They've got to take care of business. I do like that the Mississippi State game is 4:15 and not a night game. I think that's a good time for Tennessee going on the road there, because Mississippi State's 3-0. They've already took care of Arizona State, so that has the potential for one of those games, as we said. Let's talk some defense here. hang on. Okay, yeah, let's talk some defense. So 44 points given up when it's all said and done. Shouldn't have given up but 38, but it is what it is in that regard. But man, I know they had, like you said, Kerry, even if Ricky Gibson plays Saturday, it's a different ball game. Even if Dramod McCoy plays, either one of them, because I thought Colton Hood played a good game. And Colton Hood got shafted out of an interception on it. That was a heck of a play he made. He did nothing wrong. He tips it up, makes the play, and then they called what a holding. That was a joke. That was an absolute joke on that. Thought Hood was good. Landon, you already kind of mentioned it. We'll hit into it. I kind of thought we got pushed around a bit, which I really wasn't surprised, not with the injuries. And our safety play ain't it. That safety play is not it. I think Farouk does some good things. He's a young guy. I can't say much about Two. Two cannot take an angle. He's missing too many plays and angles. We've seen it numerous times this year. What's our thoughts on the defense? Is it the calls? Is it the personnel? Is it the injuries? Is it a combination of all of it? What do we think, Mr. Williams?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of combination of everything. A lot of it is just depth issues. You lose your All-American first or second best corner in the nation. Ricky Gibson's pretty good himself as well. Maybe not all SEC level, but he's close. He's sniffing those. He's in the conversation for that kind of stuff. And then Jackson Moy was a starter on the defensive line, and well, actually Hobbs was the starter, and he's out, and then Moy could be a starter as well, and he's out. So you're having guys play on the defensive line, and they're playing a lot more reps because of that. And they haven't necessarily played a lot of reps. And whenever you have situations like we did this past weekend where Georgia has the ball for 50 minutes, those guys are exhausted. And that makes nobody else's job easier. So I was shocked that we got the stops that we did in the second half, just considering the fact that they had been out there for so long. So kudos for them for showing that grit. I was kind of shocked to see Tyree West come back into the game after the injury, because to me it looked like that was more like it looked like he was in pain. So he may have even came back in that game with an injury. So shout out him and shout out for the other guys like Dominic Bailey and Bryson Eason. Like they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this program right now just because Hobbs and Moy is out. And I understand you have guys behind that, but those guys have played 5 years of SEC football. They know what they're doing. And they're playing NFL level snaps right now. And that's not something you necessarily see in a Rodney Garner defense. So I mean, you can't like detest the hustle and the grit that these guys are showing. It's just the fact of the injuries have really killed this defense, it feels like. And then the safety play just also has to be better because that makes everybody else's job easier.
Yeah, I think that's one as well, the safeties. And a lot's been, we'll talk about Redmond. Man, they threw him in and went at him, and they had pretty much did what they wanted in that regard. I saw they threw at him 7 times, 6 catches, like 113 yards on him. And Tennessee didn't do anything to help him out. Tennessee didn't adjust to the freaking screen pass the entire day either. Middle of the field was there. There's those injuries are hard to come by. Did I hear that Redmond played every play? I think at some point you needed to move McMurray out wide. I don't understand why Boo can't play out wide. Is Boo just a nickelback? I mean, I don't get that.
Apparently.
But they said McMurray can go out wide. And if Boo's out of the doghouse, put his ass on the field and playing. I mean, I know he's gotten burned some. They got him on a slant at least once and some plays too. But I still would sit here and say Boo's one of the top corners we got on the team. Put him at safety or something. Yeah. Safety plays not getting it done. Tennessee has got to get more athletic at safety. I feel like we've seen that for each year. We've always got these guys that don't take angles. They're just not that athletic. They're not that fast. That's great that you know where to be, but if you can't get there, it doesn't matter. But I mean, I think I look at the linebackers. We've got some athletic linebackers, and we've got some guys that really aren't. And I don't think there's any excuse why Bolton and Thielander is on the field on a game-winning drive over Arion Carter and Edmund Spillman. And nothing against them. Maybe it wasn't the whole drive, but I know they were. The corner thing and the defensive tackle, those are hard to make up for. Like I said, Moy and Hobbs are both pretty much starter-level guys. And then the corners, I feel pretty confident Tennessee doesn't give up 44 if all those guys are there. But, at the same time, it is what it is. So, we can sit here and say if all day long. If you hit the field goal, you win the football game, and it's not talked about as much. But, Landon, what was your thoughts on the defense? Like, was there anything that we liked on the defense? And I don't mean that to be facetious, but like I will say I like the ends. I thought Caleb Herring, other than missing the first touchdown, he kind of went too far inside. He should have made that play, but I thought he played really well. I thought Jordan Ross was really well. I thought Josephs was well. I thought Tyree West played well. And like I said, Bailey and Eason, I mean, they're just warriors right now with the amount of time they're playing. So, I mean, but at the same time, there's else. But what's some things that you did like? And obviously, we got a lot to work on there.
Well, I mean, like Kerry was saying, I love to see the grit out of the interior, especially late in the game, because it really felt like this year was the first time in this rivalry that we've seen we get that post halftime punch in the mouth and we punch back on offense and defense, right? Usually that's whenever we roll over. Georgia's kind of has their way. I really liked how we whenever we turned the ball over or whenever we did punt to them and they brought down the field, we would hold strong in the red zone and force them for field goals, right? And typically they just punch those in the end zone and it becomes too much of a gap to make up. I thought Carter had some good snaps. I think he played well. I think he could definitely play better. But as far as good, I thought Farouk, tackled well sometimes. He laid the boom a few times. Definitely. I've, as didn't really know his name, really well before. As I was listening to some of the videos you were putting out before the season. I remember you always would say that Farouk will knock the crap out of you, and he laid some hits Saturday for sure. But I just don't. I don't know if there's a player in college football that takes a worse angle than Turrentine does, and then he's not athletic enough to make up the space once he takes the angle. I just don't understand. Like, is Willie Martinez not going over film of him doing this in the past and being like, this is how you take this angle, like this is what you do in this situation. It just seems like it just doesn't get corrected. On that drive there in overtime, T-Lander does the exact same thing on that stretch. I believe they ran to the left. He takes a bad angle, just not fast enough to make up the distance. So I think, I definitely think if we have our two starting corners, I think it's a completely different ball game. You don't have Ty Redmond getting baptized by fire, right? His first SEC game, you don't have him being targeted because, they were making it a point to go after him early, right? I
Yeah,
mean, they were just,
I mean, I don't blame
I
them.
mean, I do the same thing, right? So I think the corner positions really hurt us a lot. And I think we did miss David Hobbs. We missed, Jackson Moy. I'll tell you who I think we missed a lot in this game is guys like Omar Norman Lott, Amari Thomas, and Elijah Simmons. You really could tell those guys weren't there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just, I think that really, speaks volumes to those guys, how they really plugged up the run game. I know we didn't get the quarterback as much as we wanted to last year, but those guys could stop the run. And I think you really miss them this year. I thought Herring played a heck of a game. He was getting to the quarterback. Joshua Joseph with the strip sack. And then we just kind of waste that opportunity there close to midfield. But the defense as a whole, and we're being critical, obviously, right? We've lived through the 2021, 2022 defense where you couldn't stop anything, right? I mean, just like let it all come through, right? Just the pathetic defense. So I think we're better than those times, but defense as a whole, it's going to have to get better, right? If you're going to go on the road and win at Bama, if you're going to go on the road and win at Florida, because we know I don't care if Flagway threw 5 picks against LSU, he will have his Heisman moment against us. Mark it
5
down.
touchdowns
It's
against
going to have
us.
it's going exactly. And I saw a meme of him and Billy Napier, and it was like Napier had him pulled in close, and he's like, "Son, we're in blue jerseys," you know. But just mark it down the swamp. It just never goes our way. But for me, the best defense is like the tempo is great whenever you're going fast and going quick, and the defense, the opponent's defense doesn't have time to sub in and out, right? And you're getting them penalties on them because they can't sub in and out quick enough. It's good whenever the defense doesn't have time to set up and you're taking strikes and scoring points. But whenever the tempo is not working, right, and we're getting penalties, you're keeping your defense on the field for a long time. And those guys are getting tired. So I think for us, the best defense is the offense that can sustain drives, right, and not put those guys back on the field so quickly. So I think I heard today that, Eason and Bailey played like 60 or 70 snaps. And
Yeah.
we know that's not what Rodney Garner wants to do, right? He wants to play a big lineup and play a lot less snaps than that. But I think we get some guys back. I'm very optimistic about the defense this year. I think they can get a lot better than what we saw Saturday.
It was, I agree with a lot of it, man. It's just the angles stuff is what, like the play for Branch that he scored on the touchdown. It did kind of look like Boo got held a little bit, but, sometimes that gets called, sometimes it doesn't. Turrentine wasn't even close coming in. He wasn't even close on his angle. It was awful. And that play, man, they just never adjusted to it either. I just don't. I'm curious to see what this defense is going to be during the season. I have some concerns, and obviously the injuries are a part of it. You're going to get some guys back. From what I've read, it doesn't look like Ricky Gibson's going to be back. And who knows with McCoy? I mean, it's, it doesn't sound like he's close, to be honest. So, I mean, I think you got to help Ty Redmond. I think Ty Redmond's going to be a good player. But they got to help him out. Switch something up in that regard instead of letting him, continue just be on an island and get thrown at. I don't know. I want to see the snaps too on it. Kerry, what's some things on the defense? What'd you like? Obviously, plenty not to like, but what's your thoughts on what we saw with the defense? Can it be a decent defense still, do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think it definitely can be a pretty decent defense. I mean, Georgia's had our number no matter what they've done against any of our defenses. I mean, last year they had their way with us, and that was the best defense we've had under Heupel. They're just really good at their offensive line is always elite. Now, I understand they had injuries, and I think they had a guy making his first career start. But, I mean, that's still the Georgia offensive line. That's where they make their bread and butter. On the offensive side of things, they're really physical. And Tennessee still had a few sacks. We pressured the quarterback. We had some tackles for loss, and that's with allowing a lot of yardage and a lot of time of possession. We still created havoc in the backfield at times, so that was good to see. Arian Carter, dude's so stinking good, it's not even funny. It's just nice to see some other guys around him step up. Hood's been playing pretty good. I think his physicality kind of hurts sometimes, and I think that's kind of was why they called the penalty on him this past Saturday that he had the interception on. Is he's just really physical. And then there was also times where he did get beat, and Stockton just didn't make the throw. Redmond got 8 alive all night. He's going to be great. It's just first play of the game, he fade route over his head, caught 40, 50-yard play. Just like that, the energy zapped out of the place. I mean, not really, but like it's like, dang, they're already at the 30-yard line. Then he got ate alive all night. You didn't give him any help. I think it was the second quarter when he had a chance. Like he read Stockton. He was cutting in front of the wide receiver. He should have been an interception. He got two hands. I think he got two. I don't know since I was at the game, but that one probably should have been a pick. Yeah, he had the interception on the Hail Mary, but that's not like that didn't change anything. And then he got beat there at the end of the game. And I think, and like that's why I'm not going to like sit here and like totally harp on Heupel of being conservative after you got the strip sack, because you got 3 points and you made it an 8-point ball game with like 3 to 5 minutes left in the game. You didn't expect them to just march down the field, score a touchdown, and then score a 2-point conversion. And on both those plays, you got embarrassed. Redmond got embarrassed on a touchdown on 4th and 6. 4th and 6, that shouldn't happen. Yeah, you can give up a first down, but you shouldn't give up a touchdown. And then on the 2-point conversion, it was non-competitive. Farouk and Hood just totally miscommunicated. I don't know which guy didn't go like pay attention to what they were supposed to be doing, but it was a big miscommunication on them. And then you got Branch or whoever that was wide open. And it was an easy 2-point conversion. And you should have never been in that scenario. If you have an 8-point game, like it was an 8-point game, I was confident. I was like, even when they scored the touchdown, I was like, they still have to get the 2-point conversion. And then you were non-competitive on the 2-point conversion as well. So it's just as a whole, you could have done better. You could have got stops in more important spots. There was a lot of fundamental things in the first half that could have been fixed, and that could have changed the outcome of the ball game. But then in the second half, they really picked up the slack whenever you needed to. They got a few huge stops. They got the strip sack, so they kind of made up for it in that effort. But overall, they were just out on the field too long. They got pushed around at times. Running backs had their way with them at times. Mike Bobo picked us apart. So, yeah, there's a lot of good, and I feel like there's also a lot of bad. So it'll be interesting to see how that group pans out the rest of the season.
Still noticed a lot of especially with Redmond, not turning around. He didn't even turn around on the touchdown.
I think that's
agree
just
with Kyle here. It was a heck of a throw by Stockton. It really was.
I mean, it was a great throw. Yeah.
But still, I mean, Redmond didn't even know it was there. He never looked.
No.
I don't get that not turn around looking stuff. I mean, and it's obviously
just like
something they're taught.
I think that's just the SEC freshman cornerback thing. I feel like no matter which team it is, if they got a SEC freshman cornerback, they're not turning their heads around, they're getting burnt. I feel like it's every year, it's a different team. You can see that. And you probably flip on a game this Saturday, be some freshman cornerback that's not turning his head around and getting ate alive. So
yeah,
I guess
it
it's just
could be.
thing.
I mean, it could be something. I don't pay attention to it a ton outside of Tennessee, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. There was definitely some good, but there was some rough. I was looking at the Pro Football Focus. Not so much the grades, but yeah, Redmond and Hood and Turrentine all played all 94 snaps. You mentioned it earlier. Bryson Eason, Dominic Bailey, 66 and 65 snaps. I didn't realize Caleb Beasley played as many as he did, 20. Yeah. I wouldn't have taken him from Farouk, but that's just me. Arion Carter played 86 plays.
I'll say on like Eason and Bailey, that's not sustainable for an entire season. They can't do that. Like, you can't ask for them to do that. They may be dead by the time we get to even Oklahoma. They could be burnt out by the time we get to play Oklahoma if you keep this up. So something's got to change there.
Yeah, I mean,
and it could even be
October coming up that they've got. I mean,
yeah, like it could even be like this week, not even really play them. Maybe the first 2 possessions, and then after that, you got to let the young guys play.
Yeah.
UAB can score a few points. I don't care. At this point, I'm not worried about teams scoring points on us. Because their offense, I mean, we scored 45 against Syracuse, and we just scored 41 against Kirby Smart. I'm not concerned whatsoever about our offense not being able to put up points, because we actually have a quarterback with a brain that knows how to throw the football correctly and can score points. So I'm looking forward to the offense the rest of the season. Defense just has to be a little bit better than it was in 2022, and that's not asking too much.
No, No, but it's starting to resemble it. Is the
It
bad
is,
thing of it. But I mean, the injuries have got a big part of it along the way. I think that this week, maybe Eason, Bailey, a possession or something, get them out.
Yeah.
Play Nathan Robinson, Utley, Isaiah Campbell, get all them guys in, get them all the reps that you can get them this week. Same with your corners. It's not sustainable probably for all of them to play as many snaps as they are. Get some other guys, get some of these other freshmen and stuff some looks this weekend. And same with the tight ends. Play Kitzelman a little bit and then give the freshmen some run on it. Even the receivers, I mean, they're predominantly playing Staley, Brazel, Matthews. Let these young guys play a little bit. I mean, you got to get up first, but I would imagine Tennessee will come out guns blazing and put it on them and then get the backups in. That's what I would do. I don't think you risk playing Moy nor Hobbs. I think Hobbs is out anyway, but
yeah,
I think, like you said earlier, Moy seemed like a possibility. Hopefully we can get David Sanders Jr. in. Now that one just seems something. I don't think there's any funny business. I just think it's, what they say, a stinger. So it's apparently an odd injury, and
I mean,
just
the way
weird.
Heupel worded it, it's like he's not really in control of it. It just makes no sense, and who knows what it is at this point.
Yeah.
It kind of scared me. It's like some health condition he's got going on.
Yeah.
It's concerning. And my thing is like, I would rather, like, if he could, like, play this week, that'd be great, even if it's a drive or two. And nerve damage, that is something that's like major. You don't want to, you want to take caution with that. If he has to sit out, that's fine, because the offensive line is doing absolutely great. Moy, on the other hand, and some of the other guys on the defensive line, they're going to have to battle through some injuries this year. We just don't have the luxury that we've had like last year, where we had a lot of guys along the defensive line. And that also puts a lot of pressure on Hobbs to get back as well. And also just keeping the guys healthy and putting the young guys in there and having the young guys just do a good enough job. And the defensive line, the interior defensive line, like, they just got to be good enough. Arian Carter's doing a great job. You just need another linebacker to step up. It could be T-Lander. He has the potential in the run game. He can be an ultimate run stopper.
Mm-hmm.
Pass game, not as much, but somebody's got to take the slack off that interior defensive line, because they're definitely hurting right now.
I think you got to get Spillman more snaps.
Yeah, I think you do too. Yeah.
I don't think he's getting enough right now. You're definitely going to rotate and stuff, but yeah, we got to get him. I don't need to see Bolton in. And I mean, nothing against him, but you've recruited some talent in that linebacker room. Play him. Let's stop this shit of a guy knows where to be, so he's going to come in and play. All right, that's just, let's get the talent, because you got Spillman can come in and do it. And I know Harmon is young. Harmon will come in and knock the crap out of you too, and he can move too. And we got to get some guys, some more athletic guys at safety. Maybe Joel Wyatt, who's coming in, can be that guy. Maybe, they've recruited a bunch of DBs, or heck, go to the portal and get one. Go to the portal and get a stud safety if there's one out there.
I'm trying to figure out, where's Jordan Thomas at?
I think did he get a medical? I've heard.
Who knows? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I thought he played the first game, but I haven't really seen him since.
Yeah, I don't think. I think I had seen maybe he took a medical. He may be done with. So I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but I would have thought he would have been back, but this year. But apparently his injury was a lot worse than anticipated on it. We can wrap Georgia up here. I guess. Is there anything we didn't hit on Georgia?
Pretty much covered it all. Then.
So I guess we hit it all. So maybe we'll see them again. I'd like to play them again. That doesn't mean we'll beat them, but I would like to play them again, whether it's SEC championship or in the playoffs.
I've got a couple of statistics I want to hear y'all's opinion on real quick, Frank, if you don't care.
Go for
All
it.
right. So speaking on, I've got typed out here, will Heupel ever get it done against Kirby or against Georgia? So I listened to Sports Source there yesterday, and they were doing this comparison. Jim Harbaugh lost 5 straight to Ohio State, then beat them 3 straight times. Philip Fulmer lost to Florida 5 straight times, then won the Natty the following year. Do we think any of those can come into play here? Do we think this is a completely different situation?
I mean, it could. I mean, I feel like this. Well, I don't know. I feel like this century, Georgia's kind of owned us, but we've got a few wins on them in the early 2000s. The boot got that one. What, Tennessee went 2 in a row? I guess they beat Rick and then got Kirby in his first year.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be. It could be. It seems like every coach has always got that one that's hard for him to get by. Heupel's is Kirby right now, but the fact that he got close, they're getting there. They're close on it. I'm pretty confident in all that. I mean, the fact that, to me, the improvement we've seen from the receivers, they knew what they were doing by playing their talent. We're seeing that improvement from the offensive line with it. We heard all about the tight ends, and I mean, Kitzelman's doing fine, but I would like to see some of these young guys too. I mean, it'll be interesting though, because what's the offense going to look like next year? Because Aguilar obviously will be gone. Will you have somebody who can run the offense like him? Personally, I think it'll be McIntyre who takes over, but how good's Faison Brandon? Could he come in and win it? I mean, that would be pretty interesting. That would be pretty big if the first win was on the road too, against Georgia. So
I definitely would have expected our offensive line to be, us have more confidence in the offensive line than the defensive line coming into the season. Didn't expect that to be the case.
That's right. Those defensive line injuries have just been killer, though. Like Kerry said, that it's not sustainable for Eason and Bailey to keep playing 60-some snaps per game. I'd get them probably no more than 15 snaps this week, 20 maybe at the most, and get them out. Yeah, get them 20 so they can get their pro football focus grade for the week, and then make sure they get the minimum reps in on that. But setting up the schedule moving forward, that really, you've got to win one of those road games, one of the big ones, and you can't lose another home game. And you've basically, unless it's just dog eat dog and everybody just beats up on each other, which is possible, it's looking like, you can't afford but one more loss right now. And I think you've got to go get Florida this year. You've absolutely got to. Bama will be tough, but, I mean, it's winnable. But it'll be tough at the same time. I mean, this week should be a blowout. We're set up. Or you guys still feel pretty confident this can be a playoff team still?
Absolutely. I'm more confident right now than I was this time last week.
Yeah. I mean, they showed us a lot the defense is a concern, but I don't think it'll be that bad the whole year either. Georgia, like you guys have said, they dialed it up on us every year, offensively and defensively. So Bama, I'll be curious to see what happens when we play them, if they put some points on us. But I think we can probably put some on them too. Don't know, but Oklahoma looking like that'll be a tough one at home. Arkansas gave Ole Miss a game the other night. It's not an easy schedule. It's a more manageable schedule because you get a lot of your games at home. But I don't know, man. It's I personally don't even care about playing for the SEC championship. I think it's a wasted game. I think I need to get rid of it. But get 2 losses and go to the playoffs. I'm good with it along the way. But I think they're making progress on it. And there was a ton of recruits down there this weekend. I feel like every sport this weekend was hitting on all cylinders with recruiting. Football had a ton, and I've seen it said before a lot of times the recruits don't really care about the results. They're looking for the environment, how they fit in, how they're treated, and they're rolling out the red carpet for them. Big weekend there. I think basketball had a couple guys in town. Lady Vols got a huge commit. They had a big weekend. Baseball was, what was it? Their biggest, I think it was like the biggest recruiting weekend they'd ever had down there this weekend too. I mean, and probably other sports also, I would imagine. So those weekends, man, they're big. They're big. And so we'll see. The lifeblood of the program is recruiting. Tennessee's just got to keep recruiting, bringing in the talent that they are. They got a good class coming in again, and then go out and add through the portal. I mean, for me at this point, I'm thinking you're going to have to add tackles through the portal, defensive tackles. And, I mean, unless you go with Farouk and Beasley at safety, which is a possibility, I wouldn't hesitate for a stud safety out there to try to get them. But
I think you throw some money at some guy this time.
yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. I don't think you got to go out and load up on the portal. I mean, because you have, no senior offensive lineman. I mean, could a guy leave possibly to the draft? Your receivers are young, and they've got a bunch of studs coming in there. If anything, you might have to go get a running back, possibly. We'll see where they go. I mean, the talent is stacking up down there for sure. But they can always, there's some positions they can get better at along the way. We're an hour and 8 in. We'll wrap this thing up. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We've got 280 right now. Pretty good little crowd tonight. But UAB Saturday, 12:45? Kerry,
Yep.
what's one man's fearless prediction for Saturday?
We going fearless or score prediction? Fearless or slash boulders? What do you want?
Let's just go score prediction. So I am going to ask you about your bolds here in a minute. So
59-13.
How many of your bolds did you hit Saturday?
I know I hit 2. I didn't necessarily go back and double check. I knew I hit 2 during the game, so I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried about putting up like a 20% or so. At worst, it was 40%. And then where I worded it to where Gunnar Stockton would throw an interception, that came back and bit me because they did throw an interception. It just wasn't Gunnar Stockton. So I would have been 60% for sure. But yeah, they made the quarterback change.
Did Stockton not throw the Hail Mary?
No, they brought in a different quarterback.
Huh. I didn't pay attention to that, actually.
Yep, they brought in some other guy.
Okay.
I guess they brought in their Joe Milton.
That's got to be the worst feeling, right? It's like, we're going to throw Hail Mary, get the guy with the bigger arm in here.
Yeah, that's demoralizing.
Hey, Stockton played. I mean, hats off to him. He played a heck of a game.
He did.
I mean, he really did. Landon, what's your prediction for Saturday?
I'll go 52-14, just because I don't think our guys, if it goes according to plan, will play the full game, which may lead UAB to scoring more points than 14. But I don't think we'll go quite as crazy. I look for some of the younger guys on offense to get in as well. So go 52-14.
I'm going 65-17. I'm saying Heupel's going to pull his Aguilar, put 50 on him by the half, and then the offense will just kind of fiddle around for the last 2 quarters, and that's when you'll start seeing all the young guys on defense, and UAB will sustain some drives and all that stuff. So, these games, man, I wish they would go to a 10-game SEC schedule. I'm glad they're going 9. I wouldn't have had a problem with going 10. I liked the year, even though it was a rough year, the COVID year where they did 10 games, because it was big boy football every week. And that was pretty cool. And I think players would probably prefer that too. I don't know about coaches, but is where we are. So appreciate these guys coming on. We're going to wrap up on that one. It's a rough one. We'll see how Tennessee responds on moving forward, because, I mean, you got to look at those 3 road games. Mississippi, and I'm not counting Kentucky. I mean, it's still a road game. You think we'll go up there and do pretty good, but, I mean, it's normally close up there. And then Oklahoma coming in, Arkansas coming in, Vanderbilt poured it on South Carolina. I know Sellers got put out, but still, I mean, they just wore them out. So, can't sleep on Vanderbilt. They've gotten a coach, helped get a coach fired already this year too. So, Virginia Tech's coach getting fired. So, all right, guys, appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. Carrie, Backwoods, Frank, House of Orange, you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you when I see you.